I'm not excluding her from accountability. You be with somebody for 9 years and you have a family with and somebody else step out on you like that. Have somebody do that. You're gonna want to split that way, bro.
Somebody who's a decent person talks about people in the general negative.
The main objective is so that we can get answers to the person who comes to see me. He couldn't understand why things have changed. And we find out that the reason things changed was because he changed them. In relationships, it cannot be a tit for tat. Hiram, where I'm disappointed with you. This was your friend, and I feel like you shouldn't have crossed that boundary. She opened the door and I walked in. I'm not excluding her from accountability. You be with somebody for 9 years and you have a family with and somebody else step out on you like that. Have somebody do that. You're gonna want to split that way, bro. I can say what I feel right now. I don't know you. And you don't own me, but as a man, ain't you a man?
Oh, there goes the recording mic or the recording person.
Okay? I pride myself in taking care of you. Fighting depression and everything.
And there's the other ones. Okay, great. So let's just put it to you this way. You guys that are calling me a map racist, that refers to a person categorizing somebody who lives in a certain area. Okay? You have never heard me talk like that. Because you want to know why? I lived in those areas.
You know, I just feel like I was doing the most flying down here, bending over backwards, like all that food down here. He never came to where I live in. Clearly, you hot, so I know I'd be bending over backwards for somebody who just doing whatever they
I
want.
don't know if I can. Still 4 years away.
No.
Don't know if I'm going to make it that long. I could die tomorrow, for all I know, you know.
Take a lot of figuring out to figure it out because yeah, I don't like cheaters. I don't like cheaters. But if you're gonna stop talking to cheaters, then maybe.
I want to get Marcel back in here so that we can figure out what his feelings were. Hey, Marcel. I feel like in this situation as a whole, you're a victim too, because you know nothing about her, and you.
A little bit. What I could do is, I got a lot of stuff I could sell off. But I have a back off of that one and find out what the problem is in that radio. But the radios, they're like a working radio, but you got to maintain them. They're not like 3 years old or 40 and plus. And a lot of people can't comprehend that. They don't understand that. It's not going to last forever. But you can at least try and fix them and bring them back. And if you can, and if you find an expensive one, you can make some money off of it. Like I have a bag of belts for the radios. They're all different sizes. Then I have 2 boxes of fuses. They're about like this big. There's like 100 fuses in each box. So I got 200 fuses. Then I got deoxit. One is for the volume controls, and the other one's for the circuit boards. It's called deoxit, not WD-40, not any of that other stuff, not BP blaster or any of that. Deoxit, and that's strictly used for electronics, boards, and switches. And then I have these other packs of like little tiny C clamps, for like those the wheels that hold the cassette or turn the cassette. Little C clamps for them. I got gears for like in back behind it in case any of them are broken. Got all different sizes. But when it comes to a transformer or voltage, the voltage has always got to be set at 120. That's just the United States for you. I think if it's anywhere else, it's higher because of the way they're plugged up. Their outlets are different in, some countries. Yeah, I have a soldering iron. You didn't know that? Yeah. Hang on.
Hello there. Hi. Jackie. Nice to meet you, Jackie.
There's the soldering iron. There's the solder. I have a little metal tin that I have like antennas in, the screws for the antennas, a bunch of Phillips head screwdrivers, a bunch of screwdrivers that actually have like a hook on them, so you can pull the old belts out and put the new belts in. But that's something that's very tedious, and you actually have to pay attention to what you're doing. You know. So when I replace the motors, that's what I got to do. I got to get the solder off of it.
In your blood, right? I run track for it. You run track. Are you fast? I would say I'm on a pro level fast. Really? So you going to the Olympics? No, not this year. But I am looking to go to World 25. Okay, so there had to be some relationship before.
I'm not going to put up with you here. I don't need you here. I don't need to prove myself to anybody, least of all you. Or them either. They ought to put their nose up their own ass and keep it out of other people's asses. That's the problem.
Years. So how long have you been together? We've been together like 3.5. Okay. So you meet 5 years ago. Tell me about that.
Tired of that shit.
Um, their relationship kind of was business.
Need to mind his own damn business.
That's cut up and out of here.
Whatever they were talking about happened over a year ago. And if they're a review channel, they don't need to be reviewing it again. Leave it the hell alone and move on. Grow up already, for crying out loud.
Does he train other people?
I don't go there sitting there mocking them and making fun of them and going threaten to call their job and try and get them fired or take their life away from them. Leave me the hell alone.
Some of these women that he's training, at times it can get like a social hour. And I feel like they're paying you to train. Like you were when y'all went to the master bedroom for the first aid kit. So now you want to change the person.
Exactly. That's what it's supposed to be for. It's supposed to be on here to enjoy it, not to have to sit there and look over your shoulders or walk on eggshells because somebody else wants to start shit.
Anything is going on. He's more secretive now. Like he used to be very open. So like I used to know almost every aspect of what you're doing, where you're going, who you're with. He's staying out later, not coming home. Oh, y'all live together. Right. Y'all got any kids? No. Okay. Is there a
Oh, I know he's gone. His channel's still up, though.
He needs more time.
But see, what he did wasn't right at all. I mean, he was taking accountability for having valor that didn't belong to him. You know what I'm saying? Like he was saying it was his. And he was talking about going to the WTH or whatever the hell it was. Why are you messing with people that are going to the hospital that were actually legitimate soldiers that were fighting for our freedom? Why are you somehow involved in that? How? You didn't do anything. The hat was fake. I could tell that. There's a little more information on a hat than just that. They usually have little flags on them and stuff like that. It shows what you were. Whether you were private or chief or whatever.
Come over and give me that ass. Right. That wasn't enough in your face. Is it because you believed him saying it's not that serious? I didn't believe him, but it was like the good outweighed the bad. And the good is that he pays all the bills.
No, he's gone because of valor. You don't steal somebody else's valor when people are fighting and losing their life in foreign grounds trying to keep us free.
So do you feel that
He's not legitimate, no matter what you say. We all know that.
because like
There's no new post from him. There's been nothing.
it seems to me like he's doing his own thing and you are submitting away. Have you told me everything? Well, I haven't been so forthcoming with everything.
Oh, you're back again, huh? Make another fake account?
Oh, you're pregnant. But I haven't told him, and he doesn't know.
Still working on it. Still got to get that leak issue resolved.
But he still needs time to get more financially stable, to get further in his career. And I feel like as a track athlete, it's hard to have a baby and still compete at your highest level. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. We all live together. Can I put cameras in your house? He's never. Okay, so that probably won't be no good. Okay, so then
Oh, yeah, I know.
send me track where he trains at and all of his social media. In the meantime, I need you to.
They like chaos. They like drama. That's what they live for. If it ain't picking on them, that's all they care about, you know?
Something to find, and they'll be able to find it, okay? Now, whether they find something or not, I'm going to call you back in so that we could look at the footage together so that
Authentic Italian gravy?
make the right decision for your future, all right? Ooh, there is someone out there then. You're supposed to be all right, okay? Day one. Jasmine and Justin. He's always working, so
I used to smoke reds, and I used to smoke 10 a day. Always 10. But I've had 3 packs, and they've lasted me since last Friday. And I still have almost a full pack now. So I'm definitely cutting back. I know. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I just wish I can get this nervy feeling out of my damn body. Like I feel like my blood pressure's raised from all this, you know? Tired of it, man. I just want to be able to enjoy life. I ain't got much time left in this world either, you know? My family doesn't have a long lifeline. Being realistic. My father, he died at age 62. My mother, she died at age 56. My mother died in '03, '03 or '04, something like that, on her birthday or just past her birthday. And my father, he died at the age of retirement. So he didn't get anything either. What the hell was it? There was something weird about my father. I forgot what the hell it was. Oh, there's that stuff that they posted online about the name being the same. Yeah, I'm Junior. My name is the same as my father's, except I'm not senior. I'm junior. And the things that happened that they were trying to point out, that they were trying to make it look like I did, was back in 2007. My father died in 2007. So if you look at the complaint or whatever the hell it is on that document, it has a date on it. And I tried doing that. I tried doing cold turkey and it didn't work. Last time I tried cold turkey, I wound up in the hospital 2 days later. That's when I had the stent put in my arteries. This time it was congestive heart failure with water retention. That's why I have the water pills. I have blood pressure medication. I have heart pills, and I have pills for cholesterol. And that's what they are. That's what they're for. Yeah, in other words, guns, what happens is, you ever seen like, for a lack of better words, you ever seen like elephantitis, like people blow up? Okay, well, let's just put it this way. My right leg was 2 times the size of my left leg. That's water retention. So in other words, your body is retaining water. Your legs, your feet, your heart, your lungs, shit like that. And the only reason why you're ever going to get rid of it is with the water pill. The water pill, for some people it works, for some people it don't. Now, for some heart attacks or whatever, or congestive heart failure, maybe they might give you a pill. I had no surgery done. Okay, the only surgery that was done was a stent put in my arteries. That's it. No, I don't have elephantitis. You want to call me Jabba too? Does that make you feel happy there, Guns? You don't know the half of it. Yes, he was. He used to do starter panels, transformers, stuff like that for CNC milling machines. Troy built lace. Um, what the hell was it? The laser cutter. I forget what the hell what they called it. And Tarrant punch press machines. I don't know. I don't know what he was, if he was union or not. I know he was a foreman before he died. It's enough of that. Yeah, he used to bring these boxes home that were about the size of that radio. And he used to do transformers, wiring, and get the power cord for this. I'll do with it. Oh.
You can't stay in this Would you like to come back out into this
All right, Dan. Have a good evening. I'm sorry I got a little snippy with you, but I thought you were coming off a little bit too, wild with all that stuff. So I was getting defensive.
he's been involved with for some time now. that he's been around
Right.
her child.
He worked at that machine shop for like a good 40 something years. So he was definitely foreman. He did good. He paid for the house, paid for 4 kids and, a wife and a dog and took care of that. I can't give him too many bad things. I don't like some of the things that he did, you know. But at the same time, there were some of the things that he did do that were appropriate, for a father. Now, me, my wife, her kid, we didn't get around to having me adopt him, so I had no choice in the matter. There was too much stuff going on, so always.
Emotional exploitation. It's when a person will use your dependence on them to exploit your emotions to control some of your behaviors and get an outcome that they want. Do you feel like he's used that?
It looks like he knows. Hey,
And I guess that's where I picked up the part of being able to fix these boxes. It's a different breed of monster, you know what I'm saying? Because they're boom boxes and the wires are a lot thinner than what he had. He used to do these things that had like 3 wires. I think it was red. No, it was white, green, and black, and they were mass taped on the end. So in other words, he used to put them through a tube, and on the other end, you know, those wires would be snipped at the end, and he would have to screw them into parts on the transformer. But he always jabbed himself with a Phillips screwdriver because he wasn't watching what he was doing. He had plenty of bruises on his hands from screwdrivers. But he was responsible for cutting the wires. He numbered the wires, with these little white tabs that had numbers on them. And he put them on the wires, mass taped the end of them after he got it through the tube, and then hooked up the other end to a transformer. The starter panels were a little bit different. They were just switches that he wired them up to. And then, they came out of the side. They were a green box. And those would get hooked into, the machine, whatever machine they had. Like, they used to ship that stuff across country, across the world, everything. Because there were people in foreign countries that actually had those machines, and they didn't have that stuff for it. And, the machine shop's owner figured it would be a great thing to have because he's ever done anything. Not that I know of, anyway. I mean, he's probably watched him, but heck, I can remember my father sitting there taking a 350 engine. The engine newspaper in the dining room, piece by piece. That's the way my father used to do it. And he'd figure out what was wrong, and he'd get what parts he needed or whatever in order to fix it. But then what happened was the ball joint in the front, I think, gave way or something on the driver's side, so the wheel wound up being like this, the front tire. And at that point, he just figured, well, it's time to get rid of the car.
Baby simulator.
It was a 4-door, but it was a nice car. It was blue, and I want to say it's like an ice blue, or like it had a little hint of green in it. It was a 4-door, but it had the chrome around the windows. You know what I'm saying? I always liked that car. And he also had a 72 Torino, Gran Torino, 2-door. But that car was painted like, look like you're looking at the sky, with clouds in it. Oh, yeah, we talked.
Swiffer Power Mop has a built-in solution that breaks down dirt on contact. Plus, 360-degree swivel head, think along baseboards, and even behind the toilet. Bye-bye, bucket. The Swiffer Power Mop.
No application fee if you
Like I have an Easter basket here for him.
Offering online.
I do some of the same things like my parents used to do for us when we were kids, Here, I bought these football jewelry boxes that played the March of Notre Dame, okay? and we had them when we were kids. And we also had these pig banks that were plastic. They had a little hat on the pig's head, but they were about like this big, you know. And they're from like 1973. To find because I guess they didn't make that many of them. And I was going to give one to him of those, one of the pig banks to him of that, and then one of the Snoopy brush and comb. That way he had one for his dresser. You know, we used to share a dresser, so ours would both be on top of the dresser. But I still have them. I still have the jewelry boxes, and I have the pig banks, and I have the Snoopy comb and brushes too. No, I haven't talked to her since. I don't know how to say it. Like, you just know, you know. Um, it just seemed like she was just happy to have somebody to come in there that had some money. That's what it seemed like to me. Like, it didn't seem like she was interested in me. And that's not the reason to be in any relationship. It's not based on that. At least as far as I know, it shouldn't be anyway. It should be based on, mutual respect for one another and love for one another. And, you're supposed to be standing there besides your significant other, not standing behind them ready to stab you in the back.
Flonase relieves your worst allergy symptoms, so you can start feeling better the same day.
But
Your relationship with nature.
I don't know. I don't think she was interested in me. I think she was interested in the fact that I had a few bucks or whatever, and I don't even think she's on my friend list anymore. I think she removed herself. I didn't, but she may have. I'm supposed to have a dinner date with somebody here, but she's like, I don't know, too weird for me, man. She's got a boyfriend, and then I think she's seeing this other guy, and I don't want to be involved in it. I'm not going to get wrapped up in somebody who loses their marbles because their girlfriend's seeing somebody else. It's a big red flag.